Oh, my goodness.
Yes, it's quite a mess.
Yes, it is. What are all your art things doing up here?
Oh, I wasn't using them anymore. Should probably just get rid of it all.
Have you looked in Father's old desk?
I honestly can't remember why we kept most of this stuff to begin with. I mean, why on earth did we save this old broken thing?
Don't you remember that kite? We used to love flying that with Mother and Father.
Well, it won't fly anymore. Out it goes. No looking back.
As I live and breathe.
You need to be more careful when the wind rises, Georgie. You nearly lost your kite. And you, too, nearly lost your Georgie. You might have got away completely had I not been holding on to the other end of that string. My goodness, Annabelle, what have you done to your clothes? You could grow a garden in that much soil. And John, yes, just as filthy.
How do you know our names?
Because she's Mary Poppins, of course. May I say you look lovely as always.
Do you really think so? Nice to see you, Jack.
Good to see you too, Mary Poppins.
Father! Aunt Jane! Come quick! Quickly!
What is it, Georgie?
Has something happened?
I was flying the kite and I got caught on a nanny.
Whatever are you talking about?
Come! Come look!
Wait, where did you get that kite?
I found it in the park. She kept it from blowing away.
Mary.
Poppins.
Close your mouth, please, Michael. We are still not a codfish. Jane Banks. Still rather inclined to giggle, I see.
Good heavens. It really is you.
You seem hardly to have aged at all.
Really? How incredibly rude. One never discusses a woman's age, Michael. Would have hoped I taught you better.
I'm sorry, I
You
didn't...
came back. I thought we'd never see you again.
It is wonderful to see you.
Yes, it is, isn't it? I suspect, and I'm never incorrect, that you're far too old to give in to imagination. No, not yet. Some people like to splash and play. Can you imagine that? And take a seaside holiday. Can you imagine that? Too much glee leaves rings around the brain. Take that joy and send it down the drain. Some people like to laugh at life and giggle through the day. They think the world's a brand new shiny toy. And if while dreaming in the clouds they fall and go ka-splat, although they're down and bent in half, they brush right off and start to laugh. Can you imagine that? Oh, dear.
Look, the picture's changed.
Looks as though they've broken your carriage wheel.
That they have. It's useless now.
Useless as a chocolate teapot.
The board is speaking.
And who do we think is going to fix that?
Ah, there's the riddle. Then what broke it fixes it, that's what I say. What do you think, Mary Poppins?
Well, I suppose we have no choice.
But how are we going to do that?
I know a bit about fixing carriages.
But we can't fix the carriage wheel. It isn't possible.
Everything is possible, even the impossible. Now, gather round, everyone. Spitspot. Georgie, don't forget Gilly. Are we ready?
Ready. mice and mares, cubs and does, welcome to our show of shows. It is my great honour to introduce this evening's renowned guest. The one, the only, Mary Poppins!
Thank you very much. Yes, thank you.
Come on!
No.
Come on up!
Silly Jack.
Sing for us, Mary Poppins!
No.
Come on, have a go.
No, I haven't sung in years.
Sing for us, Mary Poppins. Do sing for us.
No, I couldn't possibly. D flat major.
You've got it! Now let's get you all back home! Now if your life is dead and foggy, that's no reason to complain. There's so much in store inside the door of 17 Cherry Lane. So when troubles are incessant, simply be more incandescent, for your light comes with a lifetime guarantee. As you trivial life fantastic, won't you? Trivial life fantastic, come on, trivial life fantastic. With me. Trivial life fantastic.
I received a call from Rob Marshall, and he left a very ceremonious, quite charged voicemail on my phone saying I had to call him. I was like, oh God, what is it? And he pitched me the idea of doing a sequel to Mary Poppins, and they wanted to do it with me, so I was blown away by the whole idea of it.
Mary Poppins was what opened my mind up in the world up to movies and magic and music. So doing a sequel to Mary Poppins, you know, the first thing you think is gulp. But then you realize that there were 8 books altogether. There was a real sense that there's so much more story to be told.
It's really exciting. I mean, the chance to explore that world even more in this new original story with incredible, enchanting original music.
How'd you do that?
Do what?
It was pretty clear there was no one else that could play this role as brilliantly as Emily Blunt.
What brings you here after all this time?
Same thing that brought me the first time. I've come to look after the Banks children.
Us?
Oh yes, you too.
It's so wonderful, the soul of the movie. It's about the power of the imagination.
There's a real sense that we're part of something very special.
We all cared so deeply about the project because this is a film with great hope and spectacle, and it's moving. So I think it's a very important film to be making right now. Are we ready?
Ready.
Mary Poppins can turn the mundane into something magical.
How'd you do that?
Do what?
She is so enigmatic, indeed, and batty, and funny.
Do you really think so?
All of these things that were like so delightful to play.
Oh, pish posh.
This is the next chapter. Fluid. And was swept away by the kind of joy she infused into these children's lives.
Take your places, everyone.
Are you sure this is quite safe?
Not in the slightest. Ready?
There's a comforting feeling with Mary Poppins that she just flies in and she makes it right again.
How on earth did she do that?
That combination of magic and reassurance has been the thing that's really who she is.
Practically perfect in every way.
Yeah!
It is my great honour to introduce this evening's renowned guest. The one, the only, Mary Poppins!
Mary Poppins Returns really is the next chapter. The first film is a classic, one of Disney's most prized possessions. That character impacted people in such a big way.
And this film is not a remake of Mary Poppins, which I think is an impossible thing, but a sequel.
Morning, Jack.
Our film is set 25 years after the first film. The Banks children are now grown up, and Michael Banks has 3 children of his own.
And times are hard in London, and Michael is in danger of losing his home.
Come quick!
And in comes Mary Poppins
I was flying a kite and I got caught on a nanny!
to take care of the Banks family again.
What brings you here after all this time?
Same thing that brought me the first time. I've come to look after the Banks children.
Us?
Oh, yes, you too.
Emily Blunt is the perfect Mary Poppins. There would be no film without her.
It is a part she's born to play. She's got a great sense of comic timing.
Oh, pish posh.
She's just practically perfect in every way.
It is wonderful to see you.
Yes, it is, isn't it?
Let's roll.
I mean, the scale is huge.
I've never done a film on this scale before.
And playback.
The entire creative team have really taken painstaking measures to evoke that sense of childlike joy and wonder.
That's the thing about this movie. There's so much color and exuberance.
Don't we all need to be reminded of magic in life? We all need that. We all need a Mary Poppins in our life.
This experience will always hold a special place in my life because this is a film with great hope and spectacle, and it's moving. So I think it's a very important film to me making right now.
Ready, everyone?
Are you sure this is quite safe?
Not in the slightest. Ready?
I play a character named Topsy, who is an eccentric who runs a fix-it shop.
Who can fix anything?
I can fix anything.
Topsy and Mary Poppins have a very colourful relationship, which was really fun to play.
This is my cousin.
Second cousin.
I would love to work with her on everything.
Topsy is a woman whose world is turned upside down every second Wednesday of the month.
Oh, no.
The disorientation of that is just a great metaphor for life.
When the world turns upside down, the best thing is to turn right along with it.
Massive.
It's just, whoa.
Incredible.
I get goosebumps thinking about it.
Let's say you're lost in a park, sure.
We've been preparing this number for over a year.
You can give in to the dark, or it required everything of everyone. You can trip a little light fantastic with me.
Trip a Little Light Fantastic. Huge dance number with like 50 dancers.
Lamplighters are this magic presence bringing light into the darkness.
We created this amazing musical number using their tools of the trade.
Lamppost,
Bikes and pyro and
ladders.
The fountain.
It takes ordinary life and turns it into something special. Mary Poppins is the key to that.
my first day of rehearsal when I first spun around the lamppost and went, how am I going to do this? I practiced for weeks.
Dancing, singing. The best BMX riders in Europe doing tricks amongst the dancing.
They do it 110% every single take.
You genuinely feel like you've walked into another world.
We were having the time of our lives doing that number.
It got bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger.
I told you to watch. It was great.
Mary
Poppins.
It is wonderful to see you.
Yes, it is, isn't it?
It's been a difficult year for our family. Everything's fallen to pieces since your mother.
I miss Mother.
If ever I lose my way, I just look up.
Mary
Poppins.
What brings you here after all this time?
I've come to look after the bank's children.
Us?
Oh, yes, you too.
It's a good thing you come along when you did, Mary Poppins. Trip the lights and lead the way.
Off we go.
So when troubles are incessant, simply be more incandescent. For your life comes with a lifetime guarantee.
What are you all talking about?
As you
Everything is possible.
fantastic.
Even the impossible.
Disney's Mary Poppins Returns. Rated PG.
Mary
Poppins.
You came back.
I've come to look after the bank's children.
Us?
Oh, yes, you too.
But we don't need a nanny. We have grown up a good deal in the past year.
Well, we'll have to see what can be done about that. No, not yet.
Some people like to splash and play. Can you imagine that?
How did she do that?
One thing you should know about Mary Poppins, she never explains anything.
Perhaps we've learnt when day is done, some stuff and nonsense could be fun. Can you imagine that?
Everything is possible.
Even the impossible.
Are you sure this is quite safe?
Not in the slightest. Ready?
Disney's Mary Poppins Returns. Rated PG.
I honestly can't remember why we kept most of this stuff to begin with.
Don't you remember that kite? We used to love flying that with Mother and Father.
Those days are long behind me.
That's why I live and breathe.
I was flying the kite and I got caught on a nanny.
Mary,
Poppins.
You came back.
you seem hardly to have aged at all.
Really? One never discusses a woman's age, Michael. Would have hoped I taught you better.
What brings you here after all this time?
Same thing that brought me the first time. I've come to look after the bank's children.
Us?
Oh, yes, you too.
We're about to lose our home. Everything's fallen to pieces since your mother.
I miss Mother.
Nothing's gone forever, only out of place.
It's a good thing you come along when you did, Mary Poppins.
How'd you do that?
Do what?
So you've been off filling the children's heads with stuff and nonsense.
You've forgotten what it's like to be a child.
Everything is possible.
Even the impossible. Off we go.